10 Rules of a Real One. That's the title of today's video, and that's what I'm coming on here to talk about. Now, if you see me looking over into the distance or veering off into the distance a little bit, I do have some bullet points listed down and some notes written down, so, just a little disclaimer, I guess, on that. And, just another quick disclaimer. This is just, something I just wanted to come across and just, bring up my thoughts and my point of view on it. I'm not saying that this is, absolutely how you have to live like, or you have to follow these rules. Like I said, this is just some things that I took into account and just some things that I wanted to share and display, with, people on here, whether or not if you pick them up or use them, or whether or not if you just, even listening to it in general. You know what I mean? We ain't on no 48 laws of power type beat and all that. You know what I mean? Just some simple, basic day-to-day rules that you can go by and, use throughout life to become a better person and just stay, on your toes as much as you possibly can. Like I said, this is just my opinion and my thoughts on it. You don't have to follow it. You could take it in and just, keep it in the back of your head, or if you want to follow them, just go ahead and follow along with it. But without that being said, you know what I mean? We just gonna get straight into it, right? Rule number 1. Now, this one mostly applies to people who are faithful people, who are religious people and, believe in a higher power, right? Number 1, put God first and take care of the people that take care of you, right? I say put God first because God will always be there for you, right? I know it may be times in life where, you down or you're in a rut and, you praying, you constantly asking, for guidance, some type of answer. And it may seem like, you're not getting that answer. You're not getting to where you want to get to, right? But just understand and know that even in those times of disbelief, even in those times of doubt, that God is there and he's holding your hand throughout the whole time. Throughout the whole time, like I said, you know what I mean? It may seem like, you may, like I said, you may not be getting answered. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not the time for you to receive the answer yet. But just know that no matter what you're going through, you can't lose if you have God on your side. I know that may sound real simple, real cliche, but if you look back on your life and see, the things that you made it through and just reflect, you'll see how truly blessed and fortunate you are, even in the position that you are now, you're in now, because it could have been way worse a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And once you're able to look back and do that introspection, you'll see that he was there throughout the whole time, because you're not always going to have negative times and down times in your life, right? I said, treat people or take care of the people that take care of you, right? Treat people good and good things will come back to you, right? You take care of the people that's always taking care of you, looking out for you, making sure you straight, making sure you good. Even if those people don't seem like the type to, reach out and get that lending hand back, you may receive those good things from other people or from other aspects in life. It's better just to treat people with respect and treat people the way, you want to be treated and treat them good in general, than to just walk around, mad dogging, real rough, just, bullying through, your way through life and, just running over people. It's better just to go through life and just treat people good, because even if you don't end up getting treated good by that same person, your good deeds and your good doings could come back to you in other aspects that you may not be able to fathom and you may not see until, later on down the line in the future, right? So that's rule number 1, right? Rule number 2, don't worry about what other people say / think, right? You can't control what other people's thoughts are about you, right? Whether or not, if you're the most, rambunctious, extroverted, loud person in the world, or whether you're the most introverted, quiet, or shy person in the world, people still gonna have their thoughts. People still gonna have things that they may, assume about your character and try to say and think about you without even knowing you or without even getting the chance to know you, right? You can't go up, just be like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like they got some type of vendetta, some type of ulterior motive against me. You know what I mean? Let me try to control what they think about me. Let me try to, alter their perception of me and, put myself in a better light. That way they don't think about me that way, right? In hindsight, that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? You want to try to be in people's good favor, but you can't go up and control what every single person thinks or says about you, because not only is you just gonna run into a dead end, but you just gonna make yourself even more miserable and just drained, trying to do that at the end of the day. Just making sure you know who you are at the end of the day and making sure you know what your worth is at the end of the day. And as long as you know that, you should be good in knowing that it doesn't matter what other people say or think. And that's something that I dropped a video about, or a topic that I talked about previously, I think about a year ago back. I may leave that listed in the description below too, right? Rule number 3, and this is something that I'm actively working on myself, something I need to get better within myself, right? Never use your phone in the morning, right? Point number 1, right? And this is pretty much self-explanatory, pretty much common sense, but it's still something that, a lot of people, or at least I feel like a lot of people, the masses of people in life deal with and, struggle with, on a day-to-day basis in life, right? It fills the mind with distractions, right? When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you grab, you know what I mean, is your phone, whether that's your alarm, whether you texting somebody, whether you scrolling on social media, just even grabbing the phone in general, right? You could say that you only using it just for one thing, or I'm only using it, to check my email or to check my messages or to turn off my alarms. But if you don't have enough discipline to be able to put the phone away, right? Or to actually use it for what you intend to use it for in the morning, if, in regards to you being productive, then most likely you going to end up saying you using it for that one thing, that one productive, benefit, or that one productive, rule that you may be going by. But in hindsight, in the back of your mind, you may end up using that for something else that you're not supposed to be using. Like I said, to go on YouTube, to go on social media, you know what I mean? To check emails, to check all your messages, stuff like that. Which those two things aren't bad in hindsight, but I feel like I said, if you're not disciplined enough to focus, goodness, solely focus on that, then most likely you probably gonna end up doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, right? And another thing, right? It can alter your mood for the day. Like I said, if you on there scrolling on social media, on YouTube, on Google, on the news, you see something that you perhaps don't want to see, or see something that you didn't want to see, that can alter and change your whole mood going into that day, right? You see some type of fear inducing or death type of news that, may affect you in a harmful and a bad way, that can alter your whole mood during the day, because those first 5 minutes of the day when you waking up is the most important, minutes starting your day, right? Those first 5 minutes, those first couple minutes that you waking up during the day, that can alter, your whole mood and your whole vibe going towards the day, because that's when your mind is the most clear and the most empty and free of any distractions, right? So that's rule number 3, right? Never use your phone in the morning. Rule number 4, right? Never put somebody on a pedestal above you, especially a female, right? And that's not to sound sexist or degrading or any type of way, anything in that type of way, right? I say that to say, right? Just because she looks good, that doesn't mean she's a good person, right? And I feel like this tends to happen with a lot of dudes who may not have a lot of self-confidence or, just assurance in themselves and their ability to attract and talk to females, right? You look at a female, she may be looking good, and you start to degrade and downgrade yourself and you put them on a pedestal above you just because of their looks, right? You dictate that they may be a better person than you, or just because of something, superficial, they looks. You start to degrade yourself, and downgrade yourself. I'm dang mixing up words, boy. If you don't get the dang on word out, right? You may start to degrade yourself and downgrade yourself just because of something superficial like looks, which alter and change and don't end up being the same later on down the road in life, right? And like I said, this may be something that people or dudes in general that may not have a lot of self-confidence or assurance deal with and can understand, right? Another point, right? Don't put such high expectations into people, right? When you put such high expectations into people, you end up sometimes, or most of the time, end up walking away with some type of, disappointment, right? You put your expectations so high into somebody, especially that you may not know or may not be able to rely on fully, you most likely will end up being hurt, after the fact or later on down the line, because you expected them to be this type of way, or expected them to follow through on their word, or expected them to, to be there or say what they was going to do, like I said, right? And when that doesn't happen, when you build up, that expectation, or you expect them to be that way, or you know, you you just dwell on it and think about it a lot, you probably most likely are going to end up feeling disappointed in the end because they didn't follow through, like I said, what they said they was going to do, or what, they was, expected to do, what you expected of them as a person, right? So that's rule number 4. Never put somebody on a pedestal above you, right? Rule number 5. Don't think with your urine demeanor, right? Your urine demeanor. You know what that means, right? I ain't gotta go into, too much explanation or detail with that. Just think a little bit, and you should be able to get that one, right? Point number 1. Thinking lustfully could get you hurt, right? You may be talking to a female regardless of whether or not if that may be in real life or on the internet, right? And your intentions may be straight lustful, right? Your intentions is to only sleep with her, right? Only have intercourse, right? And when you think in this way, and that's the only thing that's on your mind, and it's, so, endearing, or so, intriguing, that it, clouds your judgment, you could end up walking into a trap that may end up, getting you set up or killed, right? That's the whole point of, getting hurt. Thinking lustfully could get you hurt. And that's the point that I wanted to make with that one, right? Another point is it's more to a woman than just, sleeping around with her, right? A lot of dudes don't understand that, and I feel like a lot of this generation doesn't understand that, because what a lot of what you will see, especially in real life or on social media, is people just having one night stands and sleeping around because they're either lacking something that they're trying to fulfill inside of themselves, or they doing it just because they see somebody else doing it, or it's just cool and it's just the way to go about it, right? And a lot of people tend to forget and get away from the aspect of relationships in general, that especially when it's between a male and female, that it's more than just lust and just intercourse and stuff like that. It's way more that you can get to know about a female and know about her just besides her body, right? At this point, I'm gonna just leave it off right here and probably do a part 2. I really don't want to make this video too long. I probably should have said that in the beginning, but I don't want to make this video too long or dragged on. So I'm gonna probably just split the rest of the parts up into a second video. So with that being said, I'll see you in a minute.